over the last, Mr. Attorney General, Mr. Solicitor General, Mr. Sibal, Mr. Nair, and all the members of the bar, over the last few days, both Sister Hima to me, and I have been comparing notes on something very important, and in the coffee lounge, and which is what have we been respectively doing to attend to back spasms in the lower back. So that's the first thing that we have been sharing over the last few days. And this morning she told me, I said, why don't you come to the Ayurvedic center which we have set up? So she said, well, my back spasm is going to disappear from tomorrow morning. And she said, well, I began my day today with a lot of time to read the morning newspaper, something which I have not had the luxury to do for the longest time. We had the group photograph this morning with Justice Hima Kohli, and they were, after the formal photograph is over, in the camaraderie that we all know as judges, there were different groups in the group photograph. So one of them was from the Campus Law Center, Delhi University, where I figured with her, so many others in the court. The second photograph was from Delhi. The third photograph was from Telangana. I was delighted because in each of them, Hima insisted that I should figure. There's a degree of acceptance which she gave me by calling me particularly by the shoulder and tugging me by the shoulder and saying that you must come and join in the photograph. We have with us a small but very, very dear family and friends. We have Nilu, whom we have all grown very attached to over the last several years, who's always there for all our events. We have Ritu Mahajan. He and Dr. Harsh Mahajan are very personal friends of Hima. We have, of course, Dr. Shama Gupta, who is the overall umbrella to keep us fit in our polyclinic. And we have Justice Nanda, the first woman judge from the Telangana High Court, who has come here especially from the bar to bid farewell and to be at the part of the ceremonial bench. And of course, we have Sister Hima's law clerks who have steadfastly stood by her and who will be joining us again this evening. It's been a pleasure for me to sit with Justice Hima Kohli. We have exchanged some very serious ideas, thoughts, a lot of fun and games on the bench and off the bench, which really was what sustains us. There have been times when she has steadfastly supported me when the going was tough, which I have not shared at least for a long, long time, and thereafter only with her consent. So we have been friends, allies, very closely knit judges on the bench. And Hima, you're not just a woman judge, but a judge who also happens to be a woman, but at the same time, you're a fierce protector of the right of women to have equal working conditions on and off the bench in the bar. Finally, the last thing which I'd like to share is that this morning, when all the other judges were assembled in the coffee lounge, the first five, we were all huddled together in my chamber to sort out something in the collegium, relatively routine issue. So there was a lot of speculation among the judges as to why the first five were not the coffee lounge. So Hima, in a characteristic style, said, well, they may be filling up my vacancy, which is going to arise. And I only hope, she said, there is a woman judge who is coming here in my place. Of course, I must share with you without telling you what it was, that you are not doing anything of the kind. Because she's a judge until the last minute. And surely we can't do something like that so long as our dear sister continues to be on the bench. In fact, I've also invited her to be with us for the conference tomorrow of the National Conference of District Judges, which is a very big conference of 800 judges from all over the country. Very graciously agreed to participate in the conference. I'll now keep my powder dry for saying what I have to do in the evening at the SCBA event. But from the bench, Hima, we wish you all the best. We respect the way you handled yourself on the bench when your mother was not well. Never did you allow your work to suffer. You did your work with the same degree of strength of character. We've all had these issues in our lives, and we respect other people because we know what it means to have a member of the family who is not well. And I really respected the way you conducted yourself during those very crucial times and critical times. And I pray and hope that you are blessed with an abundance of good health and lots of time to do everything that is close to your heart. May I request Hima to say a few words?
Just that, I think when I started this innings in this court, it was, it's a matter of, should I say, serendipity? that I started with Chief's bench in 21. And I was so delighted that I was sitting with Chief and as a batchmate, as somebody I knew before from early days, as a college mate and all of that. And it made it easier to break into this court. But it was really not difficult because all of you made it easy for me. I felt at home, not because I was in Delhi, because it was the same set of lawyers, barring a few, who I knew, whether by name or by face. It was like coming home. So these 3 years have really been a very great learning experience with Chief, with all my other senior colleagues with whom I've worked. Each one has been so kind, and I think I'm blessed. Also, the fact that the bar is so warm, so affectionate, so considerate, and always ready with some help or the other if you move out of the system, which I'm finding now. There's so many of us, or you who have reached out to say, where are you shifting? What do you want to do? What's your plan of action? I think we are going to be your neighbors. So, that makes you feel good. And so I can only thank you. And as Chief said, I'm not revealing all that I'm going to say to you at 4 o'clock. I'll keep it up my sleeve and share it with you. But many thanks for being there in my life. Thank you.
A few moments later.
Hi, good evening. How are you, SCBA, how are you? Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for such a great honor. What more can I expect from life? I'll begin with a little story about flowers, because I was thinking that the second bouquet was for Brother Sanjeev, and when the second bouquet came for me, and then there were 2 bouquets for Brother Sanjeev as well. When I became Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court, on an average, at every bar functions, there would be about 25 to 30 marigold garlands which were placed on your collar. And of course, when I went home, Kalpana would say that these marigold flowers tend to damage your shirt, and then it's very difficult to get the color off. So I began by telling the president of the Bar Association, I said, ये आप फूल देने का कष्ट ना करें, कितना पैसा खर्च करते हैं आप. So he said, नहीं जी, ऐसा नहीं है, अब इतना प्यार है, सभी का प्यार है. Then I said, but कष्ट आप ना लें इतने फूल देने का. At which point of time he told me the eternal truth. And he said, ये फूल आपके लिए नहीं देते हैं चीफ साहब, ये हमारे लिए देते हैं. थोड़ा सा फोटो वोटो भी हो जाता है आपके साथ. बट सच में आज जो फूल मिले हैं मुझे, ये मैं दिल से मुझे पता चला कि ये फूल मेरे लिए थे. क्योंकि दिल की बातें जो छुपाई नहीं जा सकती. Well, it's a moment today of Thanksgiving. It's a little bit of time for looking back in time. But before that, I would like to thank from the bottom of my heart the Supreme Court Bar Association for organizing this event, and for all the beautiful words which have been said by each one of the speakers who preceded me. Brother Sanjeev Khanna, I'm really touched to the core by what you've said. Thank you so much, Rachna. Thank you, Kapilji, for these beautiful words in the poem. Thank you so much, AG. And thank you, really, all of you, for giving me this great honor together with my family. I don't want to be very long, but it's obviously a time when I must acknowledge those who have played a very critical role in my life. And who more, or who better, to begin with than my own mother. I was a sick child. I was prone to falling sick. My mother must have spent night after night keeping awake to ensure that I get well. And I still remember a little saying, or a shloka, whatever you can call it, that she would say, which I was thinking of over the last few days. I must have heard her innumerable times saying, Aushadhi Janvi Toyam Vaidyo Narayano Hari, which meant that Aushad, medicine, is like the Ganges, and Vaidyo Narayano Hari, the doctor, is in the position of Narayan. I never knew what the meaning of that phrase was. I never did. All that I knew was that it was accompanied by the bitter medicine which went into my mouth. She told me when I was born, I was growing up, that I've named you Dhananjay, but the dhan in your Dhananjay is not material wealth. I want you to acquire knowledge. Like most Maharashtrian women, she was very powerful. Ours was a woman-dominated house. My mother dominated everything at home. And I think women from Oriya are in the same pattern. So my lovely spouse, Kalpana, calls all the shots at home, but never messes around with the judgments. We had a household help when I was young. Her name was Bhimabai Bhanu Ghamat. She came from rural Maharashtra, coastal Maharashtra. She was engaged because my mother had contracted typhoid, and she was engaged to be with my mother to give a nursing care for her. And when I was born, I was a late-born child, but not fondled. I was disciplined, but not overly disciplined. I was allowed to live my own childhood without really compelling me to live the dream of my parents. They never tried to live their dreams through me. But Bhimabai Bhanu Ghamat was completely illiterate. In fact, she learned how to write her name when she joined our family, our household. I was so sick, but she really nurtured me. And she taught me so much about life beyond the urban area that I was born into. From her, I realized the truth about our rural households, rural Maharashtra. Most importantly, she made sure that though my father had become a judge just about a year after I was born, that I associated with people, with young friends who belonged to the margins of our society. Last, may I only say this. I'm sure all of you are aware of the amount that I have received my share of trolling. I'm probably one of the most trolled individuals and judges across the system. I will only say with a shairi, and the shairi is, मुखालिफ से मेरी शख्सियत संवरती है, मुखालिफ से मेरी शख्सियत संवरती है, मैं दुश्मनों का बड़ा एहतिराम करता हूँ. But on a lighter vein, I'm just wondering what will happen from Monday, because all those who trolled me will be rendered unemployed.
We can criticize any judge because there is nothing called perfection in life. There is also nothing called eternal truth. Perfection is relative, truth is relative. And you have to judge the man and the judge on the basis of the times in which we live. So when we will write about Justice Chandrachud, we will discuss his judgments, his manner, his simplicity, his affability, his patience, all attributes of one of the greatest judges of this country. Many of you don't know that I have had the privilege of arguing before his father, who was the judge of the Supreme Court of India for 17 years. He became a judge in 1978, and he left office in 1985. And he was Chief Justice for 7 years and 14 days. Now, Chief Justice Chandrachud had to match up to the qualities and the achievements of his father. I must say you outpaced him, Judge.
Welcome back to my channel. And first of all, don't forget to subscribe my channel. And like, comment, share, and please don't skip my video. I want to watch till the end.